Hello, everyone. Alright, so it's Saturday. That means it's Roots Update Day. Once again. This week was mostly focused around the map, and while some of the changes you could find if you're looking around, a lot of it had to do with optimization and fixes. Some of the areas needed to have their cube maps fixed, and I needed to optimize certain things so that I have more room to work in the map because I was starting to reach some of the hammer limits. But that's all fine. I also actually started working on the Outlands, although it's not ready to show off just yet. Progress is being made in that direction, and it will be something that you will have access to sometime in the somewhat near future, I think, because it's coming along pretty well. Alongside me working on the Outlands, kind of studying how I was going to do that, I was looking into NPC Navigation, and so the fast zombies in the canals actually have a lot easier time of tracking you down and jumping to where you are and whatnot. So they navigate normally. They shouldn't just stare at you kind of weirdly when you're standing very close to them anymore. So that's very good. And speaking of like the canals and the 404 and stuff, you actually gain resistance over time now as a citizen and even as a Vortigaunt slave. So you don't actually have to join the resistance faction anymore to gain your resistance over time. It's just naturally going to increase as you're playing a citizen because, let's face it, you're oppressed. Your resistance is going to increase. So I feel like that's a very natural change that's very welcome because it was a little bit too difficult to gain resistance prior. And it's another thing that kind of rewards you for playing as a citizen. There's also a new weapon available, one that you guys have been suggesting for a long time. It's kind of a no-brainer that I wanted to add this in at some point. Matt's pipe. The pipe that you can see the guy using to kill the manhacks in Half-Life 2. Now that's a fully functioning melee weapon, and you can find that for yourself and determine how you think it compares to the crowbar. Personally, I prefer it, but that's just me. In regards to other weapons, I made a lot of the weapon sounds consistent with the ones that the NPCs in Half-Life 2 use, including the sounds of firing in the distance. So you actually hear bullets like echoing through the city now from very far away instead of it fading out very quickly. And the sound it's very dynamic in the way that it kind of fades out. It's very nice. The shop loophole has been shuffled. All the probabilities have been manipulated so that items that were a little bit more important to get are now more kind of reasonable to acquire, and certain kind of junky items are not as common as they were before, because a lot of things you just got too much of and it felt a bit skewed. And so I've adjusted things a bit and I think it feels better, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that, if it feels like it's in a better place now than it was before. And some of the new things that you can actually get in the shop loot pool, although that's not the only way to get this stuff, is these new cosmetic items. So I made a whole cosmetic system. I've talked about wanting to do this for a while, and now I've finally begun to implement it. So all the different shirts and pants and gloves and whatnot that you may have seen people have before, that was given to people through either having a job or through admin commands. Now, your appearance is dictated by the items that you choose to equip on your character. And you can acquire these items from all kinds of different sources. You can buy them from somebody who's selling them at the shop. Maybe they looted it. You could buy them directly from a combine vendor, or maybe you're even crafting some of them. Although crafting is not necessarily creating it, it's modifying an existing one to create a new variant. You're not just creating the clothes from scratch. Although I'm not going to roll that out as something you could possibly do in the future with certain clothing items, because this is just the beginning of this system, and I want to see how people feel about it. I think it's pretty cool. And alongside the usual bug fixes, this week was mostly just focused on getting the map ready for a lot of the things that I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks, where I'm adding the fundamentals in so that all the base gameplay is available in City 17. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys come on and check out all the new items, especially the cosmetics, and see how you like them.